Hey, how's it going everyone? This is the Anime Man. But today, I'm gonna go by the name of Joey, the Anime Myth Hunter. It's good to have the sushi hat back on. On today's myth, we are talking about a little series called Jojo's Bizarre Adventure. Now, you guys may or may not have heard of this series, but if you have, then you will most likely know how awesome it is. If you guys don't know, this is a very, very long-running and highly acclaimed manga series that recently became an anime adaptation, and the anime adaptation, I must say, is absolutely superb. With a really unique story and the fantastic visuals done by the author Araki Hirohiko, this is a series that not only viewers love, but is also a very influential manga when it comes to other manga artists. But you may see in this title, this series has actually sparked a bit of controversy online with the theory that Jojo's Bizarre Adventure, or more specifically the author, Araki Hirohiko, actually foretold the 9/11 attacks. Now, I know what you guys might be thinking, like, Joey, I think everything in the world has some kind of connection to 9/11. There are so many 9/11 controversies out there. It happened a long, long time ago. But when I actually saw some points for this theory online, especially on Japanese forums, I thought it was actually really, really interesting. And so I wanted to share it with you guys today. So how did Jojo's Bizarre Adventure foresee the 9/11 attacks? Well, the problem comes from chapter 189 on volume 20 of the original manga, from a little arc called Kunum, Oingo, and Toth Boingo. In this arc, we are introduced to two characters, namely Oingo with the stand Kunum, which is a physical appearance shifting stand, and Boingo with the stand Toth, which is a future foreseeing stand that illustrates its predictions through very, very abstract and experimentally weird manga. Now, the one we want to focus on in today's myth is the latter, Boingo and his stand Toth. At the beginning of chapter 189, one of the mercenaries that is after Jojo runs into Boingo and sees that he is holding a comic. And so reluctantly, Boingo shows him this comic, not knowing that it is actually his stand Toth. The mercenary reads through this comic to find really weird stories and really weird drawings, and the story that follows supposedly a character that very much resembles him meeting Boingo, and the next frame it is shown that this same person has been killed by being impaled on a telephone pole. Now, as you can see from the couple of pictures I flashed up on there, you may see some things that are a little bit weird, because supposedly this manga that the stand Toth has created in Jojo's Bizarre Adventure is the exact thing that a lot of people think predicted the 9/11 attacks. Let's go through some of the key points of evidence that could possibly be forwarded towards this myth. The first clue is pretty obvious as soon as you see it, and that is the fact that the mercenary in the comic is wearing a shirt that has the numbers 911 on it. That wasn't even subtle, Araki. The second piece of evidence is actually from the panel before he gets impaled, in which the character, the mercenary supposedly, looks at his watch and mutters the words, "Oh, it's 10:30. Because upon official reports from the 9/11 attacks, the time that the World Trade Center was hit was 10:28 AM. Although this isn't the exact time that is shown in the comic, it's only a 2-minute difference, which is pretty damn close if you think about it. The third obvious clue is that on the panel that the man has been killed in by getting impaled by the telephone pole, there is a suspicious aeroplane flying in the background. Again, not subtle, Araki. Now, those are some of the main points to back up this myth, but there are also a lot of other subtle hints that were sprayed about when I saw in different forums and when I checked out the panels for myself. Notably, on the panel that the man is getting impaled in, even though it is 10:30 in the morning, there is a sun, but there is also the moon that is out as well. Some members of Japanese forums have linked this moon back to Islamic states, as a lot of Islamic states have a moon on their flag or use a moon as their symbol. And some of the other subtle clues includes the number of telephone poles in that final panel matching the number of planes that were hijacked in the 9/11 attacks. But literally, if we kept going with these subtle evidences, then it could be, we could talk about this all day, literally. Now, you might be thinking, okay, Joey, well, there's all this evidence going on, but like, why did this myth even come up to begin with? Well, first of all, it is important to note that this chapter 189 of volume 20, came out in 1990, that was 11 years before the actual 9/11 attacks. Not to mention that this comic Toth is a stand that predicts the near future, which kind of links back to this myth that this comic is predicting our real near future, that is the 9/11 attacks. So that also may have been something that fed this myth. And the other thing comes from actually Araki Hirohiko, the author of JoJo's Bizarre Adventure himself. In an interview with TV personality Nakagawa Shoko, when asked about this myth and when asked about him possibly, using Toth or this stand Toth's ability to predict the 9/11 attacks, he responded with, quote, "I don't even know myself. I don't know why I drew this." Now, of course, remember, this is just a myth. This isn't true. This isn't false. It could be true. It could be false. These are just myths. But compared to a lot of other myths that I have seen, anime or not, and especially when it comes to a lot of 9/11 myths and foreseeing the future kind of myths, this one is surprisingly has a lot of evidence in it, and it's surprisingly kind of, it might be true. We don't know. We will never know, most likely. So let me know in the comments below what you guys think about this myth. Do you think it has any kind of credibility behind it, or it's just like every other 9/11 myth or theory and it's just extremely coincidental? Also, if there are any other myths that you would like me to go and hunt out and discuss in video, then let me know in the comments below. Anyways guys, thanks for watching. As always, like and favorite if you enjoy, subscribe for more anime banner, and I'll see you guys next video, whatever I make. Keep watching anime. じゃあね。